to Grace in My Space. I am Sarah, and today we are going to transform this railing without any sanding. You're welcome. We all hate sanding. We all know that sanding is not fun, especially when it's done inside your house and then you have a huge mess to clean up. So I have an entire railing that I have to do to go up to our second level, but for today's video, I'm going to focus on the small portion so you can see the process, you can see the results really fast, and then you don't have to wait 6 months for me to actually do the big railing, because I don't wanna. It's not gonna be fun. This is our magic weapon today, liquid sandpaper, also called a deglosser. This is the magic, and then there's gonna be a little bit of a combination of magic afterwards so that you get a really good finish that's durable and that's not gonna chip off. So let's get to it. For all of my painting projects, I grab a old work undershirt from my husband's stash, the ones that are getting worn out. I need new scissors. And then I just cut a small rag out of it. And this is actually a really great way to reuse those worn out undershirts or t-shirts because the material is lint-free for the most part. And so it won't mar your finish, it won't leave little dust particles behind, and it works really well for a rag. I use this for staining, I use this for my deglosser, I use it for wiping things down when I'm in project mode. That took too long, but here we go. All right, this process is very simple. You're going to want to use gloves to protect your hands from the deglosser. You're also going to want to protect your surrounding surfaces, so you don't want splatter to get on your floors or on any painted surfaces around what you're working on. I actually really love to just live on the edge, so I don't ever put down drop cloths, but you really should. Just do it. All right, here we go. First step. Well, the first step, which I've already done, is just to wipe down the railing and make sure that it's just clean of debris. The next step, shake up your deglosser. I think you're supposed to shake it. Yep, shake well. And then get yourself a good seal here from your rag to the surface and get your rag wet. Then we're gonna just wipe it down. This is literally all you do for the deglossing step. As you wipe it, it begins to work. You can see a little bit here on my rag, that is not just dirt. That's actually a little bit of the glossy finish coming off. And so you're gonna just give it a good coat everywhere. And one of the benefits of using the deglossing method over sanding is that it's much easier to get a rag in small crevices, or this is bumpy right here, around some of those detail spots than it is to use sandpaper and get around those spots really well. Now, if your goal is to degloss and then change the color of the wood, this method is not for you because you're still going to need to sand it to get this stain color off, unless you're trying to overlay it, but I really don't recommend it. This method is for painting. So I'm gonna paint my rail and just let it blend with the spindles. I guess I don't really know the full terminology here. Now the deglosser actually is literally deglossing it. It's very straightforward. It is taking off the shine, it's taking off the slipperiness of the poly, and it's leaving it with a matte tone that will accept your paint better and be a better surface for adhesion. All right, now I have gone through and I've done the entire rail, but I'm gonna take a fresh cloth and I'm gonna do it again. The first cloth gets off a lot of grime and grease or dirt. And then the second cloth is really where you're going to get your best results with a clean cloth, taking off more of that shiny, slippery surface. Now when I'm done with this, I'm gonna let it dry fully, and then we're gonna go on to the next Most important step. All right, the second step is arguably the most important step. Primer. If you are painting over wood that has a lot of knots or it's a very dark color, highly recommend using an oil-based primer. That will give you the best defense against tannins bleeding through, especially from the knots in your wood, and yellowing your paint. That's specifically if you're using a light colored paint. I'm using white. That's very, very susceptible to tannins bleeding through and yellowing your paint over time. If you're going to be using a darker color paint, it's not as imperative, but I do still recommend an oil-based paint or a really heavy-duty primer like this one from Kills. I will link it for you in the description if you're looking for exactly what I'm using, but let's get to it. If you are doing a lot of detail work, I highly recommend a smaller square brush for getting underneath of the rail and in between spindles. This is from Zebra. I'll link it for you in the description. You can see it's been well loved. Now, one of the keys to getting a really good finish on a railing is priming twice. Because this is one of the highest traffic areas that you have in your home, especially if it's going actually up and down the stairs. This one's obviously not as high of a traffic area because no one's hanging onto it. But if you're going up and down the stairs with this railing, you're gonna wanna have 2 coats of primer to give yourself the best chances at long-term durability. Look how good it looks already with just the primer. No more clashing wood tones. This is gonna be a game changer and really finish off the look that I'm going for in my home to just get rid of the 90s oak. The only thing is just like don't look over the edge because the stairs are all orange 90s oak. Someday. That's a someday project that I'm not looking forward to. Final step, getting on the top coat. I really like an enamel paint for trim. It must be semi-gloss, in my opinion. Of course, you can use whatever sheen you want, but semi-gloss gives the best durability for really high traffic areas, unless you want to go full on gloss, but then it is very shiny and also will show even more smudges and fingerprints with a high gloss. So I like the semi-gloss, increased durability, but it doesn't show quite as much as a high gloss does. One tip for you, if you have a double-sided railing that you have to lean over, do the edge on the inside first so that you're not leaning in wet paint. Now, one thing that you are going to want to do is long strokes, the full length of the rail as much as possible so that you are avoiding brush strokes. And I do have a very detailed blog post on how to avoid brush strokes while painting trim and all kinds of other things that I will link for you in the description, which will be very helpful if you are going to be doing a lot of painting projects in the future. And 2 top coats later, here we go. Painted railing, no sanding, a super simple project. It's really easy to do. 4 simple steps: clean it first, degloss second, use a really good primer third, and then your top coat last. Like I said, use an oil-based primer if you have really naughty wood or you're concerned about the tannins bleeding through. Make sure to do 2 coats of primer. You will thank me later. And then 2 coats of your finished color, or potentially 3 depending on how good your coverage is. Now over here, giving you a little sneak peek, but you're gonna have to stay tuned for the full kitchen reveal that has been 5 months in the making, and a full video talking about design regrets and loves from our kitchen remodel and my reaction to your comments from my first video on that topic a year ago. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button and I'll see you on the next project.